The AI directly connected the client to our professionals. The implementation was extremely fast, with 350 positive responses. Call quality, consistency of calls. We save over 80%. We moved from post-control to online control.
Welcome to today's interview with Mr. Josef Bezpalec, the country manager of 4Life Direct for the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you, Zdeněk, for the invitation, and I'm glad we could meet and talk about what we've achieved in this area so far.
Your company is among the leading insurance brokers in the Czech market. Can you generally tell me what you do and where we found common ground regarding AI?
Our company, 4Life Direct, is an international company operating in many European countries. In the Czech and Slovak republics, we have been operating for more than 10 years, focusing primarily on direct sales of life insurance over the phone. During that time, we have gathered a lot of contacts through our work. And we still have these contacts in a valid database. And we are constantly addressing the question of how to handle this database of clients who are no longer as profitable because they are quite old contacts. We still see value in them and are continually addressing the question of how to approach this database. And one of the things that caught our attention is AI. How can we use it on this database? And the second thing we struggle with a lot is, as I mentioned, we are an international company and we have to constantly monitor our calls to ensure they meet all legislative and regulatory requirements. And that's a very demanding part. Listening to and checking all these calls made even more challenging by the fact that, as I said, we are an international company. We have to conduct this monitoring in several languages.
Let me ask, what were your expectations before we got to the actual implementation? AI is a relatively new technology on the market. What were you expecting from it?
We had the idea that AI is a complex thing, that it would take a long time, that it would be a demanding process, both procedurally and financially. The reality was different.
I'm glad to hear that. And how would you evaluate the collaboration, the implementation process, together with EndorphinIT?
The reality completely surprised us because dialing a nearly dead database, the implementation was extremely fast and simple. During a few meetings with your company, we presented our call script, how we approach clients, what our expectations are. We sent a few sample calls, and within 2 weeks, we had the first results.
How would you evaluate these results?
Again, beyond expectations, because we took a database where we expected 1 to 2% success rate out of quite 600 clients. We had 350 positive responses and another 24 direct contacts where the AI directly connected the client to our professionals.
Regarding the next topic, we are currently discussing quality assessment. As you mentioned, your company operates not only in the Czech Republic, but also handles calls in several languages. What kind of problem are you facing there?
I already mentioned it at the beginning because it's in several languages. So for different countries, we need to have different supervisors. And because it's a human, it naturally takes some time. And we can actually only manage to check a very small percentage, 2 to 3% of our calls, which from my perspective still generates a certain risk that some calls may not be perfect and could potentially bring us problems in the future with the Slovak or Czech National Bank or with clients. And that's why we reached out to you to see if this time can be utilized. And we have taken the first steps where we can address those basic regulatory requirements. And again, for me, it's a very pleasant realization that it's very quick, because listening to one call by a supervisor takes an hour, but with AI, we record it in the evening, and by morning, we have the calls we needed checked. So basically, we have moved from post control to online control, and for now we are checking the basics, but in our minds we have already discussed further advancements into more business-oriented aspects, such as measuring satisfaction, truly assessing the quality of the call, how it went, let's say the emotional tone, and such aspects of the call. So we will transition from the regulatory part to the business part, where I expect even more significant results, because we will be able to implement changes directly to our agents very quickly, without waiting 2 to 3 weeks to listen to everything.
How do you evaluate the cost of call assessments? Comparison of AI versus human listening to those calls.
We save over 80% on a single call. Instead of 1, 2, or 3%, we will have 30 to 50% of calls checked, verified, and ready for further use. In my opinion, it's a tenfold improvement.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me ask you, regarding AI in insurance, what further potential do you see? From your perspective, where do you think the market and the use of this technology will generally head?
In the insurance industry, there is almost no area where AI cannot be used, because we are already thinking of other areas we want to discuss with you, which we believe could be implemented very quickly, such as processing insurance claims in the administrative part, handling some client requests, but also more commercial matters. Predictive calling to customers where we feel that not everything might be all right. So instead of using our customer service agents, AI can help us much more, because our experience with the first call, standard quality, always the same call quality, the consistency of those calls ensures that we will also have a consistent result.
What advice would you give to companies considering implementing AI? How should they start based on your experience?
Based on my experience, I would recommend everyone to start trying it right away. Meet with someone who is more experienced in the field, like you, and start sharing ideas, because those who stood still for a moment are already left behind. And as I said, the implementation is, in my opinion, much, much easier than, for example, implementing new software. So to anyone who is thinking about how to make their work more efficient, I recommend meeting with a company like yours, because it will save them a lot of thinking, costs, and energy, as the solution is usually very quick and simple.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time for us, and I'm really looking forward to discussing some of the other use cases we have the opportunity to solve for you next time.
I'm also looking forward to it, and I'm excited about those other cases, those other scenarios, because the beginning was simple things, and they just got us excited for the more complex ones that will bring us much more.